Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Blk and Barred. It's your favorite host, Ivy B, and today I am joined by a very special guest, my friend, my colleague, former coworker, fellow NCCU legal eagle, attorney Ashley Mitchell. Pew, 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 pew. Hey, sis.
Hey, girl.
How are you? How you doing? How you feeling? Tell me all the things.
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. Oh, what a time. Just
Yeah,
what a
exactly. Exactly. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Ashley and I formerly worked together doing civil rights work. Both of us are civil rights attorneys and have this work deep down in our hearts for impacting change within our communities and impacting change within our society. Both of us are in North Carolina doing important work. And Ashley, just like me now, is in more rural county where the politics of the area really have an impact and an influence on the type of things that get passed, the type of action that get done. And what we were just discussing a second ago off the record is sometimes these court actors and these, state officials, they don't be following their own rules. And so we have both been doing the work in both in our individual capacity and in organizations to hold state officials, state actors accountable when they don't comply with the rules that are in the law books. And so we have spent some time litigating together on voting rights issues and things of that nature. And so I'm really glad to have this legal genius here in the room today. Ashley, can you talk a little bit about what you do now, how you're kind of feeling about the work that you're doing in this like political regime that we're under, and how it feels to be like navigating the legal profession and the legal landscape of where we are right now?
whew, it's it's a wave out here. I'll just I'll start by saying that. So I'll start with what I'm actually doing right now. So I am working on election protection democracy work here in North Carolina. Trying to track all the many changes and whatnot with the laws around voting, trying to make sure that they are just for our folks, even though right now it's just a tough time. We are fighting our legislature and our courts, and it's a wild, wild world out here for voters in North Carolina. But still, nonetheless, trying to stay fast and pay attention and make sure our folks across North Carolina, especially in our rural counties, have the information that they need so they can go and cast their ballots when it's time.
Yeah. Yeah, that work is so real. I remember like just being in the election protection space with you, and I think in 2020, and it was like crazy then. I remember like we were doing like hotline work, manning phone calls for where people can call in if they're having issues when they go in to vote. There's a lot of stuff that happens in these rural counties throughout the country realistically, but in North Carolina, I think there's a specific type of violence that we see, misinformation, disinformation, all those things. And so it's so good that you're doing that work. I continued to do that work last year during the last election, and I went out to the polls to actually like sit and observe. And I was doing the phone calls into the hotline. It was crazy out here in Johnson County. People was threatening. I'm like, wait, like
Listen, it gets real at the polls. People be thinking it's some weird, crazy things that happen at the polls.
yes, truly, 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 truly. And I think I did meant to clarify this at the beginning. You're here, and what you're saying, you're not speaking in any official capacity for any organization that you work for, right? This is all in your individual capacity and with your own knowledge and experience. But I think for me, it was really eye-opening to be out at the polls. Like when we were on the phone, you hear the stories and you hear people calling in talking about threats. People have weapons at the polls, or people are sharing information that's not true. But to be there and observing it is crazy. Like there were so many I call them MAGA maniacs. There were so many MAGA maniacs out there while I was there. Black ones, girl, black ones.
Interesting. I want to hear the tea on those.
Yes, black ones out there who were girl out there with their clipboard and had the little poll going for Elon Musk, having people sign a petition. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm pretty sure you can't be offering people money as they're walking into the polls. Like, I don't think you can do that, girl. They got mad with me. They wanted to know who I was, what my name was, who I worked for. who they could report me to.
Yeah. Like I said, at the polls, it gets interesting, and
Yeah,
folks get real. I'll just
yeah,
say,
yeah.
get
Yeah,
interested in the polls.
it's a wild time that we're living through. Do you feel like obviously like there's a lot happening at the federal level. Do you feel like at the state level, we live in a state where there is a Democratic governor, thankfully, even though our in General Assembly is entirely Republican. And so we live in a purple state, which
Mhm.
I still can't fully wrap my brain around how we elect fully one way down the ballot. And then,
Yeah.
you know, folks out
No
here are confused.
questions that need answers in North Carolina.
Yeah, because what's going on? What's really going on?
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Don't get me started, okay?
Okay.
Get me started.
So, do you feel like the threat that we're seeing at the national level is kind of similar at the state level, or do you feel like we're in a little bit of a different position and we're more protected? Like, how are you feeling about the things, particularly that you're seeing on a national level as well?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think we are in a mess all kinds of ways. Whether
Agreed.
it's federally, whether it's statewide. I think things that you're seeing happening federally is like connecting to the things that are happening statewide. So,
Right.
for example, there was a push for the citizenship. I forgot the exact name of the bill. Is leaving me, but I know that was a federal bill where they were trying to push for like having to take passports and more documentation to the polls when you're going to go vote.
Yeah.
That even though that is a federal thing in North Carolina, we're having voter ID issues. We're having issues with immigration, and when you go to the polls, you can see signs that are that invoke fear within a certain community and things like that. So connecting those things from federal to statewide and seeing how they interlock with each other, where federal may lack, statewide there's being bills that's being passed to take on that lacking, I guess you can
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's real. I have noticed the same thing. The national kind of sets the tone,
Yeah.
and then our state legislation will generally mirror what's happening on that level because, we are falling right in compliance with the fascist regime that's taking over. In terms of the stuff that we're seeing right now, like censorship and our First Amendment coming under threat, like, what do you think? About that? Are you moving from certain platforms? Are you going to continue to speak out on social media? You are a lawyer, your voice matters, you have impact, and you've spoken out about certain issues. Are you concerned about your own safety, or will you continue to kind of use your voice?
I think safety is definitely something to take in consideration. When you're online, for sure, making sure your personal, super personal information is sort of tucked away. I recently had a run-in online with a individual. I was talking about the recent hanging of the student on was it Delta State's campus,
Yes.
and I made a very broad but very clear statement saying, I don't care what anyone says, Black people or Black men do not hang themselves from trees.
Right.
Like, we didn't do it in 1865, we ain't
Okay.
do it in 1925, and we ain't doing it in 2025.
Okay.
And with that being said, this individual, I guess, got a little salty with that statement and tried to find me via my nonprofit and all of these things. And I'm just like, sis, I'm a civil rights attorney.
Please find somebody else to play with.
Like, my job is to call out BS when it comes to racial injustice. So I don't understand what they thought they were doing with that little piece, but I will definitely be sending a clear message back of, you don't intimidate me.
Right.
Uh, and it's not going to stop because
Yeah.
like you said, as attorneys, we do have a important role during this time, is to make sure that the rule of law is being handled accordingly
Right.
and being executed accordingly. And I think it's important for those of us who do have a voice and who can stand up to go ahead and say something and
Yeah.
dismantle some of this disinformation and misinformation that you're seeing online, because it's circulating. Um, and I think it's definitely important for us to use our voice. And it is a scary time, I will say. Security is definitely peace. And if you don't have that job that is, open to using your voice, that is also a factor as well.
Yeah.
But it is important to use your voice on social media and in person. Like, let's get off of social media and
Okay.
actually get communities and use the same rhetoric to get our people together, because it's a time that we need unity, we need togetherness, and we all need to be informed.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's so good. So many points that you just hit. First of all, I'm sorry that you had to deal with somebody calling your job, but I know where you work and I know that they ain't going for that. So that's crazy. Too, like, shout out to all the people out there who have the privilege of working at a job that aligns with their values. So it don't matter what the people online talking about when they call. It's like your job has your back. That's a privilege. Some people don't have that privilege. A lot of people out here, we're seeing all these layoffs, particularly of Black women. There are a lot of people who don't have the privilege of working somewhere where they know that their employer is going to have their back. And so, like, for me, I work for myself. Who you gonna call? Like,
hello.
like, find somebody else and say, in your situation, you work somewhere that is aligned with your values and supports the message and the narrative that you're putting out for justice. And so, like, that is a real privilege that I want to acknowledge. And I'm so thankful that we have that. Unfortunately, like, in this crazy economy that we're living in, a lot of people don't have that and kind of just got to take whatever job they can get. And therefore, their speech is stifled and suppressed about the types of things that they can say, whether online or in public, because they're in fear of, that retribution, which is crazy. It's crazy that we are here, that the party of free speech is now attacking free speech.
Craziness. Like, it doesn't make any sense. No sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
However, that's what we're facing right now. We're seeing it like we see it on the big screen. I think Kimmel was like I won't say the tip of the iceberg, but just to be clear, like, it was happening before Kimmel. Like, Kimmel was not the first one. Joy
Right.
Reid, I mean, there were plenty who lost their voices on TV or on media in
Right.
general, because of this regime.
Yeah,
This, yeah.
exactly. That's real. That's real. So Ashley, how do you feel about, like, the future of our country and where we're going? Are you optimistic? You think this is just a moment and in 3 years, like, we're gonna find ourselves on the other side of this? Or are you more of a pessimist and not seeing the bright side? You think that this is going downhill from here? How you feeling? Be real.
Think I'm sort of in the middle of the road, to be quite honest. Like, I can see, like, in my mind, if we can some type of way turn this thing around, turn this ship around, I do think this could be a pivotal moment, because I think a lot of things are being uncovered. I think a lot of uglies are being brought out to the light. And I think it could set the tone for some change, the foundation for some change. However, this regime that we have in office is going to try their hardest to, make sure we either don't have another election, or we don't have a fair election, or whatever the case may be. And that's the scary piece, because if we, for some reason, don't make it out of this craziness, that can be scary for our folks, for sure, especially when history and we know what has happened in history, and knowing that a lot of our rights that our folks fought for have been redacted and taken away, and is crumbling. It can be a scary time moving forward if things don't change.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. One of the things that you spoke to a second ago was the concern about the future of our elections. And we're seeing right now, like, attacks on our elections through, first of all, through many different taxes and through many different platforms and avenues, from misinformation to disinformation to now them changing the maps. And so it's just like, if y'all have all this power, you're going to win. Why do you always have to cheat when you play the game? Why do the rules always change? And so now we're seeing states, like several states, including Texas, where they just went in and unilaterally redrew their maps. And so that is something that we have encountered, particularly in our state. We have been in a gerrymandered state, and we have fought for, fair elections and fair maps for years and years and years and years. And our General Assembly here in North Carolina has continuously made efforts, despite litigation, despite the courts telling them that they are racially drawing those lines with surgical precision, that they do it again. They'll fix the maps and they'll redraw them again and use racist data and racist information to draw them. And when I
Mhm.
say that, I mean that they are particularly looking for where Black and brown people are voting and recrafting those districts in a very specific way to strip that power. It's mind blowing. And so it's kind of like, what's the point? How do you, as a civil rights attorney, continue your fight for justice? Like knowing that they're gonna cheat, knowing that they're changing the maps no matter what. How do you stay grounded and not say, what's the point of all of this? I'm not even gonna do this. Because realistically, you're a lawyer, you have power. You could do any other practice of law, any other area, and probably make twice your salary. What keeps you grounded in this work to say, you know what, like I'm going to continue to do this despite what the other side may be doing? How do you how do you persist?
Knowing, well, two things. Knowing that my ancestors fought so hard to get us where we are, it's like we can't keep backsliding. Like they did too much work. And like the work that they put in makes me feel like the work that I'm doing is like nothing.
Okay.
Cause they work hard. Like I can't even put into words the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the time, the energy, everything that they did. So me sitting at a desk reading and writing and
Cracking away at these keyboards.
listen, just typing away, trying to figure out like that to me is nothing to what they had to go through. So that's one motivating factor. And I think the other thing that motivates me is like, and this is what I tell people when they say, well, if they're cheating, if they're, gerrymandering and they're doing all the things, like, what's the point of me going to go vote? Like, my vote don't matter. And I'm like, they're doing that because your vote absolutely does matter. Like, your vote means so much that they're trying to cheat their hardest. They're trying to go around all the rules, break all the laws just so they can, like, outsmart you. That's how, like, important your vote is to them. And they see that. So
Yeah.
don't you lose sight of that. So that, like, those two pieces is what motivates me to keep pushing this fight, because if we don't, and the last piece is, if we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Okay. Okay.
Like, yeah.
That's so good. So good. The way that I see it is like, I'm never going to let somebody else tell me, like, I'm never going to let me tell myself no. I'm not going to not go out and vote. I'm not going to not do these things, out of fear of what somebody else is going to do. I'm going to knock down every door possible. That way I can say I did everything that was in my power, and somebody else had to stop me. Somebody else had to defeat me. Somebody else had to tell me no. I'm not just going to tell myself no. You feel me? Like, it doesn't make sense for me to not exercise these powers. And I see it the same way, actually, for me in continuing the civil rights work that I do and fighting for people of color in our state and children and all these people who are facing discrimination and injustice. I see it as my duty, truthfully. Like, my ancestors were doing 10 times what I'm doing, and they were being in community, and they were, handling so much more. And so who am I to live in a state of overwhelm? Like, I respect the people who are setting boundaries, but low key, I'm tired of hearing people say, I'm tired, I'm taking my rest. I'm kind of over it. I'm over it because our democracy is currently being taken over by fascists, and we just like, oh, I'm too tired to fight. Thankfully, there are plenty of Black women who are always going to continue, like us, to put in the work and fight the good fight no matter, what's happening. Um, but speaking of boundaries, this is going to be my last question before we get into the speed round. How are you taking care of yourself? Are you engaging in self-care, community care? What practices do you engage as you do your civil rights work? How do you kind of keep sane? Because there's a lot of moving pieces all the time. So how are you maintaining your sanity and keeping yourself cared for?
So definitely practicing self-care. I will say after the November election, I would say my brain was just fried for a little bit. So I was a part of that, like, let's rest for a second, women. However, coming back into
Okay.
the new year, going into like Black History Month, whatever, you got to pick it back up.
Okay.
It's time to pick it back up. And that has been another piece, is like the self-care piece of making sure I just feel grounded. Because if
Right.
I'm not grounded, there's no way I can do this work. But then also, like you said, being in community, getting out amongst my folks.
Yeah.
I have a nonprofit, and being out amongst the kids. We're trying to start a little chess club here in our community. Just being out amongst people and being amongst, again, my people
Yeah.
has been very I won't say relaxing, but it takes your mind off of some of this crap. You
Yeah.
know? And then lastly, I'll say, because I'm focused in North Carolina, I try to keep my focus on North Carolina, because when my brain goes to federal, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
I try my best to stay grounded in North Carolina and the foolishness we have here, so I don't get too overwhelmed with all that's going on in the world, because it is a lot.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah, to boundaries and community care. Cheers to that. Because I can relate 100%. I have had to here lately, I'm like, all right, I gotta disconnect from the apps because it be too much, so much going on all the time.
It's a lot.
What's blowing me is everybody wants to talk about politics now who have no political experience, knowledge, information, no nothing. Everybody's just talking. And I just be wanting to say, will y'all please shut up? Everyone, please. Everybody, please be quiet.
The political analysts are out, okay? Like everywhere. TikTok, threads, it's like they out.
With zero facts. With zero facts.
Listen, I think the ones that really get me is the ones that try to come and be like, well, you know, such and such, the Democrats are the ones who started slavery and the KKK. And I'm like, baby, I know. Read. Need you to get up with the times, okay? Read that timeline real good. The history.
Okay. It's insane and I'm over it, honestly. So I'm like, okay, you know, I used to be a little addicted to these apps, but right now it ain't even hard for me to get off because y'all irritating me so bad that it's easy.
And you got to catch yourself. Like, I really have to catch myself sometimes because, like, I try, of course, to keep it professional online.
Yes.
But, like, the phones will have you heated sometimes when you read them comments. I just be like, let me just make my little post and get off. Let me just get up.
I literally had to deactivate my Facebook last week because I was arguing with people. I was like, okay, you know what? It's me. I'm the problem. I got to get up out of here.
You bring the drama. Listen.
Because there's two things I don't play about. When you start talking about Black people and Jesus and putting them two lies together,
Hey.
baby, I can't keep my mouth shut. Like, because y'all lying. Every last one of y'all lying. And I'm not going to take it. I got to say something.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Man.
So let me just log off to keep from going off. Anywho, but thank you. That's been good. Let's do our last quick speed round. I'm interested, just some funny questions for lawyers that I like to do. If you could add one objection to the list of objections that you can make in court, what would it be and why?
Ooh. See, you know I don't be in court like that. So let me look, my attorney stuff be outside of court oftentimes.
True. But you know the basics. But you know, give me your funny answer, like your non-legal answer. So last week I had Cameron up here. He said if he could have one, he was like, "Can I cuss?" I said, "Yeah." He said if I had one, it would be like, "Objection, Your Honor." He making this shit up. Mine was objection, Your Honor. We got to take it outside because I'm ready to throw hands. I'm not about to keep doing this with him. All this legal stuff, we can take the legal gloves off. Let's go outside. Is there anything you've seen or done in court to where, you know, you wish you could have said something, but you had to bite that tongue? Let that be your objection. Even if it's to the judge.
Ooh. Let me think. Oh, can we come back to this one?
We can come back to that one. Okay, this is a little bit easier. If you had to go back and do it all over again, would you still choose law, particularly the area of law that you are in right now, or would you do something completely different with your life?
Ooh. I would say I would still choose law.
Okay.
So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I think I would choose organizing on the low ski, just because like organizers, they can make a bank on the low ski.
Okay.
And be out here doing the work that I in my mind I'm doing. So if I knew about an organizer before I came an attorney, I might have would have went that route. However, I do love I won't say power. What's the word? I can't think of the proper word, but like I won't say the authority that you get sometimes with law that you don't get otherwise.
Yeah,
Sometimes you be like, I'm an attorney, so you state work hard. Such and such. So I'll say that, but the actual work itself, I will say maybe an organizer might have been my road.
Yeah, your work is hard. You got long hours, and you don't get paid enough for it. So I completely respect that. But yeah, there is like a level of prestige where like you whip out that attorney card and people just believe what you say.
Be wrong, just be making stuff up sometimes, but
Even
that's
if you
what
don't know what you talk about, folks gonna believe you.
according to the Constitution. Hmm.
We're gonna fall back on that Constitution every time. Okay. If you could choose a theme song that would play anytime you were walking into a courtroom, what would it be and why?
Oh,
It could be as ratchet or as holy or whatever you want it to be as possible.
this isn't my song of all time, but I was literally just listening to this today. So I'm gonna say Cardi B's new "Hello, Hello, It's
It's
Me."
me.
So walking into the courthouse, like, "Hello, it's me,
I'm
Lord.
here.
We here. We are here."
Oh, I
Uh,
love that. I love that. I still haven't made it all the way through the album. I got some listening to do. Aubrey made me turn it off when we were riding in the car together. He said it was hurting his ears. That's my 4-year-old. So I got to get back to it, but I did hear that one and it's fire.
the album, since they're her big one, I would say I won't say her biggest one, but a big
Yeah,
one.
she did do her big one for what I've heard so far. If you were in Congress, what's one bill that you would write right now? And it could be as serious or as petty as you can imagine.
Listen, um, see, I ain't gonna be too petty. I ain't gonna be too petty. Let's let's get this history together, okay? Let's make sure everybody understand what we are, how we got here, and where we need to go. Like let's get everybody on the same page.
Okay.
That would be a bill that I would write is let's get our education. Maybe this is not even like a true one bill, but I would do the introductory bill of let's get our education system together. Cause
And while we're at it, let's mandate Black history because we got to take European history, so they need to learn about ours because our history is actually their history. So let's mandate that one.
or let's just call it American history because it was built on our backs. Like,
Okay.
how about that? Like let's just call it American history just to make sure that we in there.
Okay.
Like what is this? We have created a lie. I'll just leave it right there. We have created
Every time I'm terrified to send my son to public school. I've always been a public school advocate, but right now I'm kind of shook. Okay.
this low key. The tidbit is they segregate these schools.
Absolutely.
We ain't even gotta go deep in it, but that's just know they are segregating these schools as we speak.
And truthfully, I don't know if I'm 100% mad at that. My son goes to a predominantly Black school right now. It's amazing. The teachers treat him very well. They all know his name. Everybody there looks like him. They all speak his language. He's loved, he's saved, and he's educated. So I don't know if I would be 100% mad at that. Now, the access to resources
That's the
and the
piece.
quality that they're providing because of that
That's the piece.
funding is the problem.
That's the piece. That's the piece. Did you hear about Winston-Salem? We are on a podcast. I'm sorry.
Did not hear about what's
Conversation
put a pin on that and come back.
My
Okay.
bad.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's rewind it. If you could think back now, it's okay if you don't have an answer. But if you could think back to one objection that you would add to the list of things that you would like to say in court, but you gotta hold it in, suck it up. You can't say it, but you be really wanting to say it. What would you say in an objection?
Objection. He lying. Like he lying. Do you not see? He lying. That's the one for me. Objection. He lying.
Yeah, yeah.
Honor, you see these lies. Objection.
And actually, Judge, objection, you're lying.
That part. And Judge, I need you to pay attention to what's going on, Judge. Keep up. Tighten up. Objection. Tighten up. Please and thank you.
For real one. Objection, tighten up.
Tighten up. I need the whole courtroom to tighten up. Everybody. What is happening?
Because we only here playing games and wasting my time. Find somebody else to play with.
Tighten up.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you. That was fun. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I really appreciate your time, your wisdom, your honesty. This has been really good. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. And thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Blk and Barred. Ashley, do you have any parting words? Is there anything you want to say before you go?
I just want to say, audience, you are doing amazing with your podcast. And I don't know if this is going to make the cut, but girl, keep doing your thing. I'm super proud of you. I love all the gems that you are spreading to the world. And I hope that you invite me back some, girl, because this
Oh,
is
yeah.
fun.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was so good. Thank you.